Italy's Foreign Minister Paolo Gentiloni, to replace Matteo Renzi as Prime Minister. Paolo Gentiloni has been named as Italy's new Prime Minister following reformist leader Matteo Renzi's resignation in the wake of a crushing referendum defeat. Italian President Sergio Mattarella announced that he is going to evaluate possible solutions in the coming hours on how to resolve the Italian governmental crisis following the referendum and Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi's resignation. Mattarella was speaking at a press conference in Rome on Saturday after meeting and discussing the matter with MPs for 2 consecutive days. Mattarella said, "In the hours to come I will evaluate what came out of these meetings, out of these discussions, and then I will undertake the necessary initiatives to resolve the government crisis. Our country needs a government in its fullest of functionality as soon as possible." The Italian president added emerging from these meetings as a priority was a general need for harmonization of the 2 laws for election of the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate of the Republic. "This is an indispensable prerequisite for proceeding to elections." Mattarella formally received Renzi's resignation on Wednesday. Renzi announced that he would step down on Sunday evening following a no vote in a referendum proposing changes to the constitution. The reforms would have removed the current system of so-called perfect bicameralism, whereby the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate have the exact same powers within the legislative process. Paolo Gentiloni has been named as Italy's new Prime Minister following reformist leader Matteo Renzi's resignation in the wake of a crushing referendum defeat. Mr. Gentiloni, who served as Foreign Minister under Renzi, was asked by President Sergio Mattarella to form a new centre-left government that will guide Italy to elections due by February 2018. A close ally of the outgoing premier, Mr. Gentiloni now has to put together his own government team ahead of a parliamentary approval vote expected on Wednesday. In a brief statement, Mr. Gentiloni said there was an urgent need for a fully functioning government to address a series of pressing international, economic, and social issues. Chief among those is a looming crisis in the troubled banking sector and ongoing relief efforts after a series of deadly earthquakes between August and October. Mr. Mattarella turned to Mr. Gentiloni after opposition parties rebuffed overtures about a possible national unity government. The president rejected opposition demands for an immediate election. "Not by choice, but out of a sense of responsibility, I will be forming a government based on the outgoing majority," Mr. Gentiloni said. Mr. Renzi, who had been in power for 2 years and 10 months, resigned last week after voters overwhelmingly rejected a package of constitutional reforms on which he had staked his future. The populist Five Star Movement, which has led calls for immediate elections, said it would boycott Wednesday's vote because the new government would have no legitimacy. "This government is not even worthy of a vote against it," said Giulia Grillo, head of the Five Star Group in the Senate. Mr. Gentiloni, 62, is very close to Mr. Renzi and will be seen by the opposition as a puppet premier keeping the seat warm for former boss, who is planning a comeback at the next elections, whenever they are. In a statement on his Facebook page, Mr. Renzi, 41, admitted it had been a wrench to leave office and vowed to pursue his reform agenda. "It was painful to pack the cartons yesterday evening, I'm not ashamed to say. I'm not a robot," he wrote. "Only those who try to change things can help a country as beautiful and difficult as Italy." Five Star, Italy's biggest opposition party, and the far-right Northern League are demanding a vote as early as possible. But Mr. Mattarella, who enjoys extensive executive powers during government crises, has ruled that the current electoral laws must be revised first.